Hello, everyone. Welcome to our final Intersect Town Hall of 2025. Uh, it's been a warm, sunny day here in India, and I can tell you that the holiday season's kicked in. And with that being said, I do want to wish a very warm holiday season greetings to everyone joining us today here, and as well as those tuning in later on to watch the recordings on our YouTube and, of course, in the virtual hub. So this year's been quite crazy. 2025 has been fast-paced, intense, incredibly impactful for Intersect, and I'm sure our leadership team, Jack's going to talk all about that. But today's town hall is sort of a moment to pause and reflect on what happened in 2025, what's 2026 going to come up with, and a lot of exciting things. So without further ado, let me share the agenda for today. It's keeping it short and simple for you guys. So of course the openings be done by Intersect leadership. We've got Jack here, and then we've got the annual members meeting review by Lorenzo. Then of course we've got the Cardano 2030 vision and strategy done by the product committee members. And of course, then we have the Cardano Hackathon and the India Blockchain Week highlights. And the last bit is a special moment, just a bit of a holiday message for everyone from us. So yeah, let's bring on the team right now. Just give me a minute. We'll just bring everyone on stage. Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. So, Jack, do you want to take on the stage and just sort of give us an overview of how 2025 was from your point of view as leader of Intersect? And
yeah, thanks, Abs. Hi everyone. I hope everyone's having a good week. Only 1 week to go before Christmas. So a lot of people are looking forward to a bit of time off. It's been a hell of a year, and it's been Cardano's first year, I guess, with full on-chain governance when we hard forked into Plomin at the end of January. So it's been, about 11 months now of on-chain governance in effect. And it's been what I would call largely effective when we think about the amount of participation and decisions that we've taken collectively as an ecosystem. Has been pretty impressive, man. And you think about the 39 treasury withdrawals that we all voted on and all those proposals. We had 194 come through that budget process, with 40 being sort of filtered through the DREPs off chain. We've had the constitution ratified. We've had, I'm going to miss things here, really, net change limits, the extension one that's live on chain now, and the product strategy that was set earlier in the year. And I know that Kyle and Sam are going to talk more about that in sort of long term later today. And then obviously everything to do with the integrations budget right now as well. There's a tons of stuff on chain. There's been a huge amount of activity, and that's just from an Intersect perspective. I mean, when you think about other budgets like the Amaro budget, when we think about other actions that have come through for testing DREP support and getting approvals, it's been phenomenal. No other blockchain does this like Cardano. So it's something that we should all be really proud of. It comes with frustrations and challenges because we're decentralized, and that's not easy to navigate that environment in. It's everyone needs to sort of feel like they're having a win, right, in the ecosystem. And I think it's been probably a bit mixed, to be honest. People feeling like they're winning or getting what they need from the ecosystem, and the ecosystem giving back to those that are participating in it. So it's been mixed there, but it's been a phenomenal first year. I think we should be really proud of everything that's happened. And Intersect has gone through a lot of changes as well. And I stepped into the interim role in May this year, and it's been roughly 6-7 months now of doing that job. Not been easy to do. And really my goal was sort of two things, which is one, to stabilize the organization so that we can deliver what we need to deliver for the ecosystem. And then secondly, linking to the first point, that we are actively listening and not just saying that we're listening and not just saying that we're transparent, actually making that true and changing what we do because of what we're listening and what we're hearing. That's one of the greatest strengths about Intersect, is that we're incredibly agile and responsive, and I want to keep it like that moving forward. We are an MBO and we are led by our members. And the other thing that we did, of course, was expand the board from 5 to 7 members. So the board is now a majority elected board, meaning that it really is in the community's hands. So yeah, it's been a phenomenal year for Intersect, a good transformative year, I think, given our first year was last year. It's now our second year, and now we're moving into our third year. So I just want to spend a little, just quickly, Abs, if it's all right, on what 2026 is starting to look like. And just to remind people about what Intersect is here for. Essentially, it's to enable members to collectively solve Cardano's biggest and most complex challenges. That's why you join Intersect. And we're seeing a lot of evidence of that happening, right? And again, Kyle and Sam will talk more about the Vision 2030 stuff coming later. What we need to do is harden governance so member decisions can reliably execute. And so we've obviously had a big year this year with on-chain governance coming live, but next year it's about making that more dependable and more predictable. I think we all need a bit more headspace and a bit more heads up on what's coming and why things are important. The other thing that Intersect is really focused on, and there's sort of three functions for Intersect is how I see them. One is member services, so what I talked about, members solving the biggest challenges facing the Cardano ecosystem. The second part of Intersect's purpose and remit is technical coordination, and we've seen that with the mainnet incident response that we had a few weeks ago, and obviously all of the upgrade coordination, and there's upgrades happening in March next year, and then even in Q4 there'll be a new ledger era upgrade. So we'll be going to node version 11 in some point in March if the SBOs and DREPs approve it, and then a new ledger era, in Q4. So node version 12 towards the end of 2026. Again, if DREPs and the SBOs endorse that. But those are the things that we do is the technical coordination side of things. The other thing that we're looking at and working more closely with is on node diversity, because that's going to become even more important as we start to do upgrades and as we start to think about responding to incidents that may come up. So that's the second piece. And the last piece is the administration part of our business and of the organization. And that's essentially managing 270 million worth of ADA in contracts through the budget process that we ran in the summer, but then also adding a few others on. So for example, SNEC, we're administrating the SNEC proposal. We supported them getting that over the line and making that loan contractually sound and good for the SNEC team so that they can go ahead and execute based on their DREP support. So those three functions really are what Intersect is here for and what we do. And a link to that now is the integrations budget, which I know is sort of hot on people's minds because it's going through the withdrawal process at the moment. And we last week announced the signing of PITH, which is I'm really proud to get that done. And there's going to be a lot more coming soon there as well. So Intersect plays that administration role in making sure the work can get delivered on time and to good value with strong dispute resolution and arbitration routes that are needed for that piece of work. Technical coordination, which is all about, reaching out to as many stakeholders as possible and making sure that the coordination happens effectively as best as possible, is challenging in a decentralized landscape. And with new node versions coming, it becomes even more challenging, but they're good challenges to address. And then network resilience is sort of all part of that piece, really. So I won't speak much more because the 2030 vision that Kyle and Sam are presenting back and will go on chain soon is really exciting, and that's going to anchor us into the future. So I'm looking forward to that. And we've also got a lot more work in open source and looking at how we expand our contributor and maintainer pathways and the open source model, the paid open source model that the open source committee are looking at as well, and across our repositories that are Cardano critical related. So the Haskell node repos essentially. Making sure that they are robust and being effectively matured into best practice, open source best practice. And then lastly, I guess more from just a general membership, like why would you join Intersect? We do need to improve participation, and how can people, when you join Intersect, the next day you've joined, what can you do? And we know we need to improve that. And so that's a big focus area for us internally, is to look at where a particular initiative is and know where you can jump in and start adding some feedback and some viewpoints so that we can make sure people are heard. I think there are some big improvements to do there, and we're looking forward to getting that rolled out in Q1, Q2 2026. So essentially, Intersect exists so the members can focus on solving Cardano's hardest problems, and then while the machinery of governance, funding, and delivery quietly does its job. So on that, thank you everybody for a great 2025. I'm looking forward to 2026. And I'll hand over back to you, Abs.
Thanks, Jack. And before you hand it back to me, I just want to ask you, what do you think of Midnight joining Intersect? How is that going to, add
I
value
forgot
to
that.
Intersect?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I knew I
and
was going to. Yeah, thanks, Alan. I knew I was going to miss a ton of updates. But yeah, Midnight joining. That's exactly the point about no diversity and ecosystem partners that are critically relying on Cardano's infrastructure, and Intersect being the way or a route to be able to help coordinate that and make sense of it and support them. So for Midnight, we have sort of dedicated support. They currently use their public testnet on the preview environment, the Cardano preview environment. So that's something that we help them navigate, particularly when it comes to upgrades. So Midnight's a key partner for us, as is Shielded, the development firm behind that supports a lot of Midnight's development. And then we've got other people like Apex Fusion. I met the guys from there in Berlin. They want to join Intersect as well, which is awesome. So we're looking at expanding that. And then Serviceplan, ABS, another big one that I forgot to mention, the largest marketing group in the world, joining Intersect last week or the week before. Massive. So all of these are really great proof points. But for me, it's really nice to have that. But on the other hand, we've got to make it meaningful when they actually are engaging and working and support and with our members, right? Collaborating. That's what we need to improve in 2026, which I think is well understood. But ultimately, I think we've got, hundreds of the right ingredients, and we can make up a fantastic meal pretty much next year.
Wow, thank you so much, Jack, for that opening remarks. And you're absolutely right. I think a lot of this benefits of the memberships are also falling onto the MCC committee, who are also going to be working in closely with you, everyone, just making sure that the benefits to members are looked at next year for sure. So thank you, Jack, for that opening remark and setting the stage. We can move on to the next part, which is the annual members meeting. Just a little feedback review, and I think Lorenzo is here to sort of give a bit of a oversight to how the AMM happened, what went on. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Abs. Yes, so we wanted to kind of give a little bit of a summary of this second annual member meeting in Intersect history. This was a few weeks ago now. So this year, so just for context, as a reminder, the annual member meeting is the annual event where members connect to look at the year that just passed and also kind of look ahead, so kind of discuss the year that is coming. This year in particular, we wanted to kind of advance the model that we had last year. So we wanted to make sure that everyone in the membership, which is distributed in more than 70 countries, was able to join and connect. So we piloted this virtual space, the Intersect Virtual Hub, where actually right now, if you go there, you will be able to watch this town hall live on the main stage. So it's a good place also to connect even right now. That's going to remain open. So outcomes after the 23 hours event. So the event started at midnight UTC on a Saturday and ended at 11 p.m. on the same day. It covered all the geographies of the members that we have in Intersect. There was a lot of positive, a lot of good feedback. There was, being a pilot, there were also some bugs and things to fix, which is good. It gives us learnings for kind of improving this virtual hub and making it available and accessible throughout the year for other like event like that, or like this town hall and then the next AMM. Some useful data. So as I said, the event ran for over 23 hours, and the whole 23 hours have been live streamed. On the live streaming, we had over 200 viewers live at the time, and now there might be more. And overall participants throughout the day were over 100 people. It's a mix of members and associates that joined there to connect. We had many different members who took the time to kind of give a welcome to other members through their videos, and members that hosted sessions to allow the region to connect and provide feedback on what does Intersect mean in their region. And a lot of useful feedback came out of that. But again, the most important part, outside of allowing members to connect, that's one critical event, but we're going to have more throughout the year, is looking back at 2025. And now the final version of the annual report is actually live on the knowledge base. So you can see the final polished version there, and you can review all the achievements that Jack was just mentioning now, and also the refined goals. So again, as a reminder of the process followed there. The members had a opportunity to provide direct feedback via the annual member survey, which was open for 8 weeks. We had over 70 responses on a survey that was around 15-20 minutes long, so very good quality feedback we received there. That created the proposal for 2026, which is still live on the knowledge base. So you can see the version that was shared during the AMM. And you can see now the updated version based on that feedback. Let me see if I can share my screen 1 second. So I'll show you where to find that screen sharing. So if you go on the knowledge base of Intersect, you will still find under the AMM section the what was shared during the AMM, so the annual report and the proposed kind of goals for 2026. But now you will also find the updated goals here under the update section. So what has been refined after the feedback. And if you go in development updates, you will find here the PDF of the annual report. So a fun read for the holidays. One very last point. Let me come back to the call. Is about the virtual hub itself. As I was mentioning, this was a pilot during the MM, but the goal is this is always open, so any member can use that space anytime. So if you go through your member area, you can access that. You got different rooms that you can use to discuss. The committees will also going to use them in the future. And even if you go there right now, I'm going to share again my screen so that I show and not just say, you can see and I say it's easier said than done to screen share exactly what I want to screen share. Just give me a second.
Let me know when it loads up. I can bring it up to the screen.
Yeah, it's called Intersect. It's always, there you go. So if you go in the virtual hub right now, as I was saying, and you go to the main stage, you can see us live, and you see there is some people there watching. So the idea is that we'll do this more. So when we have like a town hall or a town square, people can join there to watch it live together, and then they can remain there to have a chat. And this is just like another way for members to connect.
I need the action button.
So, Lorenzo, while you had the virtual hub, can you give us some alpha as to what new improvements will be coming in to the virtual hub? I know I don't want you to give all the alpha, but some would be good. But
there is a
yeah,
lot of cool stuff already. So let me go out here. So you see already there is some improvements in the structure as well. So you see this is slightly different from what we had in the AMM. There is the AMM gave us a lot of feedback on how to access different rooms, the structures. So that was already implemented. We now have also more avatars. Let me see if I can refresh this page and show you. Yes. So we're gonna introduce soon your custom avatars, which you can create from the member area. But in the interim, to allow everyone who might not have a custom avatar, we've introduced many more options, some more diversity in the avatar. So that's I'm gonna pick Wednesday. This looks like Wednesday from the series. Outside of that, we had now more options to screen share. So people that committees or working groups or anyone that wants to use the rooms as a simple way to screen share. We added already the more functionalities in the chat. So the chat itself, it keeps the history and it allows you more. So it's just like a fully fledged chat, and many more things are coming. So again, the idea is to keep this open. So every month to kind of have a little bit of like updates, and with the feedback, then all of this is gonna compile, let's say, for the next AMM. So the next AMM will have a year worth of improvements to use, and it's gonna be another probably whole day event for the all 72 countries which make the membership of Intersect. And I'll pause there because I'm sure we have much more to cover.
No, it's really nice to see the virtual hub, progressing to a bigger thing, and I like how they have actually changed the stairs. It's made looking more dynamic and entertaining to someone. Are we gonna have more screens, or is this gonna be the one screen? How does that work? Just
yeah, that's a good question. Also, I noticed that my camera went off, so now I'm in the black. That's fine. Yes,
You're
so
frozen, I think.
Yeah, probably. There's the main stage screen, so that's for the, like, for example, town halls, but also every room now has a screen to screen share. So if any committee or anyone would like to kind of book some time or like go there and kind of connect, they have an option to use that screen. And actually there is a new feature in those rooms as well that allows whoever is kind of on that stage in the room to be heard in the whole room. So basically it's almost like a presenter mode. There is a lot of possibilities. So we'll see how the members are going to use this, and based on those needs, this will get better and better.
Awesome. Thank you, Lorenzo. And just a little comment from Ryan, it's because you're frozen. Lorenzo.
Yeah.
No worries. You could come unfreeze and come back in again. You're most welcome. But thank you, Lorenzo. Now we can shift a bit to the future, and I know Jack mentioned this about the product committee talking about a bit about Cardano 2030. So we've got Kyle here from the product committee. Hey, Kyle, do you want to take the stage and give us a bit of brief on the Cardano 2030?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think just taking a step back towards kind of extending what Jack was saying around Intersect, looking at solving some of Cardano's hardest problems. One of the biggest challenges that we've had is we had to transition into governance before we had a collective strategy in place as an ecosystem, right? And it's hard when you try to decentralize something, and I've been blessed enough to kind of been on the journey long enough to see it unfold. And one of the challenges is maintaining that trust amongst parties. And one of the most critical things that we did during this process was we brought everybody together, and people with widely different views understood that we have a common problem that we need to solve as an ecosystem. And the result of the initial steps of that is essentially a framework for how we spend our treasury money. And to do that, we need to understand what our vision is collectively, right? Charles did a really good job kicking this whole thing off, right? He got it censorship resistant, right? He got it to a point where we're governing ourselves, and now we have to do that. And so a lot of his vision is intact, but times change, and we have to be tactful as well and adapt. And so we basically have to come up with our own vision as a community and run for it. And so through that process, we said, okay, we looking next year is silly. Things are moving too fast. We're almost kind of like lagging as it is, right? We're playing catch up with budget. And I think we're on track with where we need to be. But the goal is to come together, collectively ratify a vision and a strategy, and then now we've set the framework for how all the talent in the ecosystem can come together and submit proposals to go execute upon that. And so that's kind of the high level of what we've done, and the nuts and bolts of that is a series of workshops, massive data. Lorenzo, you're probably better at describing everything that went into pulling that just operationally. But it was a massive effort that happened for a while. And Lorenzo, if you want to talk for a few minutes on it, feel free.
Yeah, I can add a little bit of context. So the process itself started at the end of 2024. It was divided in 3 stages. First was to collecting input. So there were a series of workshops, both in person and remote, and surveys and focus group calls to collect as much information as possible from as many groups as possible. Then that input and also context from businesses and builders. So that input then went into a drafting of an initial proposal. And actually during that drafting, also the product committee got approved a budget to run some more workshops and some more business calls. So that was further kind of approval of the effort from the Cardano community. And after that, this draft has been went through many iteration. You're gonna be able to check all the different changes in the info action that will get submitted today. There is a link to check all the history. So that went through a series of other workshops, both remote and in person. I think in total we calculated we met around 700 people in the year past to kind of check this. So now it's at a stage. Perhaps I can also share my screen to look at the version that it's ready for today's submission. And God, I'll let you perhaps speak through that. So it's live, so people can. This has always been live, so anyone can access this. This is the latest version of the mission and vision proposed.
Yeah, I mean, so just it's kind of small on my screen, and I've got the sun in my eye. But just here, let me just zoom in here. But just referencing the mission to start is just, I'll just read it. To empower a global ecosystem of builders, businesses, organizations, governments, and communities. So a lot of people, by providing a scalable, secure, and research-based platform that enables the creation of transparent and fair digital economies. So it encapsulates a lot, but a lot of work and thought and back and forth went into this, and more so even to the vision, which is shorter. And the vision, what we wanted to do as a community in ecosystem, the consensus was we want to play to our strengths. High level, some blockchains are fast, some blockchains are cheap, but Cardano is built, to address a different caliber of applications, quite frankly. And so we wanted to play into that. And the vision is plainly, Cardano is the most secure, reliable, and censorship-resistant blockchain for mission-critical applications to power economies and societies of the future. And so that sets the tone and kind of the I guess direction in I guess paints a target of where we think we can win.
Yeah. And everyone will be able to see the proposed version on chain today. This link is up. So the other side of this is the strategic framework. This is divided in some key KPIs, but also the pillars. So I'm just going to scroll down here, and kind of perhaps if you want to add some color to each of them. So we have first pillar is infrastructure and research excellence. I think, Cal, you're better than me talking through this. I can scroll down through it and
yeah. I mean, it's just ultimately kind of looking at the pillars that make our ecosystem, the things that we think are important, right? From a high level, that's the idea of the pillars, and that kind of like I said, sets the stage for the areas where we want to invest and ensure that they're maintained and strong. Infrastructure, research driven. We want to maintain the ability to kind of still have basically Cardano's high assurance code, right? It's built using formal methods. We still want to maintain that. We want to maintain that high assurance status. That's critical to the value prop, right? And the infrastructure similarly kind of plays into that. It's got to be robust, right? Mission critical. That's what we're going for. So that's kind of, and then I guess we list a few verticals. The verticals we list are not all inclusive. They're more of suggestions. We don't want to limit where we play, right? If we have an opportunity and it makes sense, we want to go for it. But the verticals of high focus, L1 protocol improvements. So we want to make improvements to the L1 protocol, right? Laos is coming. We've got some other things that have coming. We've moved a lot of the RAM space to disk, right? So RAM usage is less. We've got alternative nodes that are coming, which could quite frankly displace ecosystems or exist, right? So we want to continue to focus on that. L2 integration is important because the whole part of the strategy is revenue, right? Like underlying it's a revenue game, guys. We have a reserve. For those of you who aren't really familiar with the intricacies of how Cardano works, there's a reserve supply that's depleting every day. And that revenue is paying stateful operators and stakers. And so we have to look at how we want to focus to ensure that we replenish that revenue so our ecosystem can sustain. And there's a lot of ways to do it. Cross-chain interoperability, straightforward. We're seeing a lot of that happen already in parallel. And then core ZK capabilities. So, and then security and resilience. Post-quantum readiness is important. I think that's super, super important because we can market on that. That's, if we've got something there that makes sense, like getting out in front of that, I'm seeing some marketing on it, but it's not from tier one crypto, right? So, but regardless of the marketing aspect, that's critical, right? Post quantum readiness is something we want to focus on from a resilient standpoint, client diversity. Having different full node clients makes sense. We got to distinguish between nodes that are block producers and edge nodes, right? You want diversity at different points, but what that does is that builds and layers into censorship resistance, right? So we're not dependent on one single client or supply chain that kind of plays into that. Threat detection and recovery, right? The ecosystem demonstrated that very, at least a recovery aspect, very, very diligently recently, right? Like everybody kind of just like, it was pretty cool to see, a lot of superstars came together and just gave 48 hours of their time like that. And we came together. Okay. And then, so adoption and utility, adoption is everything, right? Like, it's transaction volume, it's revenue, it drives, it's partner chain engagements, that's revenue. It's entrepreneurs building on Cardano, right? So there's various verticals. High value verticals are just noted. Please note that these are not isolated verticals. So if you see a treasury proposal come in that's dope, but is in a vertical that's not listed here, that doesn't mean that that's not something that we don't think could be awesome, right? Like these are just ideas and areas that make sense, that play into the value props that Cardano offers. And so, you've got DeFi, RWAs, supply chain makes sense, and payments, right? We've got Hydra, so evolution into payments makes sense. There's plays there. And then DeFi includes the whole Bitcoin DeFi narrative, as well as existing kind of the market. So the experience is important too. You have to focus on there's a layer between where the rubber hits the road in adoption and people getting there, and a lot of that is involved in education and being able to give people opportunities to participate in the ecosystem. So basically the invisible technology component, you're seeing some of that now. A practical example of that is, social sign-in wallets, Hydra demos that you've seen with vending machines that kind of uses something like that, where users don't even know they're using crypto, but they're using it as an underlying tech. Decentralized identity is an interesting, target a lot of people have been focused on. It's for that, there's people have attempted it, but there's markets that are emerging, right? And the UX of achieving that has been a gap too. So this is what all this kind of area is improving the user experience and kind of onboarding this ability. And then, from an enterprise perspective, enterprise security and compliance. So the nature of how Cardano is built plays into that value prop. We also want to improve the developer experience. It's very important. It has to be easy to build here. You ask a developer, they'll tell you it's not easy to build on Cardano. And so we're seeing, we want to focus. We've got open source incentives, Intersect open source committees pushing out things to help kind of push those along. Continue scrolling. I can't. You got to keep going, Lorenzo. Thanks, bud. Okay. And then, the education and the collateral for bringing people on and keeping all that up to date. And then, so you've got other ecosystems too. So like, kind of, that collateral and opportunities, like, for example, when you guys read this, you could say, okay, how can I contribute to that? One thing you could potentially do is come in and write a migration guide, right? To guide an EVM developer to come and how he might use a tool chain to accomplish something similar. That's kind of how that plays into that. And then compatibility. So we want to align for just kind of reduce resistance where it may make sense to interface to other ecosystems. And then the third major pillar is governance. We've got stake pool operators, we've got DREPs, we it's not perfect, but it's working and it's good. We want to focus on that. And, part of that is we want to maintain our talent and do so. And we're learning, we realize that being a constitutional committee member, it takes time and effort and energy. And we realize that people are going to work to what they're going to work for. And we realize that, we're going to have to pay for what we want. And we also realize that if we don't, we're going to have to react quickly. And all that happened and all that worked. So it's working. It's not perfect, but these are the areas we want to continue to focus on, make sure that we can explore how the incentives are right to get people paid that need to get paid, and give people the ability to just participate in governance, right? So, and we want to improve it as well. So it's governance MVP is MVP. That doesn't mean that we can't continue to explore and strengthen that pillar. So I think that's kind of the high level of that. What else you got there? Turnout aware voting with delegator safeguard.
I think it's maybe also worth mentioning, Carl, I think you touched on it at the beginning. The sort of purpose behind this is so that when we are opening up we're going to put this on chain, right? We're going to get the D-reps to hopefully endorse it. And this is something that makes sense for us to focus on as an ecosystem, as a network, and all the other pillars that you mentioned. With the view that it informs good budgetary decisions for when we're spending at the Treasury, there is a linkage back to this, and it should help D-reps and us all collectively sort of point towards a shared set of goals and a shared set of KPIs, which we've not really had before as an ecosystem. I don't think we've ever had shared KPIs quite like this. So that's the purpose of this. This goes on chain, right? And then in January, February, the budget process will start to kind of formalize, and then it's linked to this.
So is this G2? Is that like governance 2.0? Is that what that means? Is this coming from the civics committee?
Yeah,
I guess I'm not terribly familiar with that second part.
Yes, this is coming from the workshops. Yeah, so this is G2 is the governance tool. So it just for context as well, when you read this, the letters just reference the first letter of the pillar as well. Then the last one here is Treasury season, which is I think what you guys were discussing now, right? Basically the having like a time of the year where the participation knows it needs to be kind of increased to support that Treasury season. I know the last two pillars here, so I think, shall we just go another there's a lot of other stuff to cover.
Community ecosystem growth, that makes sense. We have a vibrant community. We want to ensure that our I guess that stays intact as Cardano grows, and there's opportunities to really do that. So like our ecosystem is not just community. We're a group of collective experts that come from all over the world, and part of that is fostering the opportunities for those. Okay. Yep. And then so marketing and market adoption is a big deal, right? So
yeah. And the last pillar 5 is.
Hold on. Yeah, so it's ecosystem sustainability and resilience. We've got a revenue. We've got a revenue kind of problem, and so the focus area, multi-asset treasury, managed treasury. Keep scrolling down. I'll go ahead and cover them all, and then I'll go back and kind of talk more about this. The value retention from L1 to L2. We can talk about all that, and then what else do we have? Okay, cool. And then all the incentives and all this. So yeah. From a revenue perspective, we've got treasury. It's the original thought was that we were going to have so much revenue from transaction fees that we would be able to replace the reward reserves. And pragmatically speaking, to remain competitive, right? I like not necessarily super high fees. It's really challenging to rely on that alone without drastically overburdening our engineering demands, right, to get us to the point where we can support that type of transaction volume. So we want to strategically, where we can, produce revenue elsewhere. And partner chains are a great example of how we can do that, right? Like the ability for Cardano validators to earn an alternative revenue stream, and also Cardano delegates to earn an alternative revenue stream for staking to a Cardano validator and holding ADA is massive, because as Cardano SPOs get more opportunities, they become Cardano ecosystem SPOs, and that entire staking and SPO payment system can kind of be offloaded a little bit, which translates into offloading on engineering demands. That's one revenue component. And the other is, active treasury management, right? You can get revenue from yield management in DeFi. You can also have revenue, and I think we need to focus on a vehicle for enabling the treasury to be entitled to, returns on equity, right? If people are, loans are great, but let's go for equity. Let's figure that out. And so revenue is super important, and that kind of all ties into how we do that. So ecosystem sustainability it's top priority. If we don't solve that and achieve that, then that's really what it's all about. And so this is the areas that we're going to focus on, and this vision and strategy all ties together with how we're going to spend our treasury money to get to that point of ecosystem sustainability.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Oh, and so L2, L1 value retention, the trade-off there is that we get real fast on the L2. We can really ball on some applications and actually hit market fit, but that value prop of roll-up of securing or proving or validating the integrity of the activity that happened on the L2, that's the transaction hook. So we've either got to make those really expensive and valuable and be worth doing, or do them in volume in parallel. So that's the concept there.
Okay. Jack, do you want to add anything on this, or?
No, I added a bit earlier just about the process and why this matters and how we're going to use it as an ecosystem moving forward. So yeah, excellent work. And Kyle and Sam and the product committee, Alex and James, everyone there has been doing a ton of work on this. So it's hugely impactful. So well done. Thank you.
I think some of our viewers are sharing the same view on that. It's the product committee has been hard at work. So we're getting a lot of positive comments on the chat. So yeah.
Well, big shout out to everybody who helped. I mean, we've facilitated this. Like, this isn't us writing all this stuff and coming up. This is you guys. Like, Cardano Foundation came in and helped a whole lot. IO, put a whole group on it and helped us out. Mergo's contributing. So we really did bring a lot of people in the background. We just facilitated. So it was awesome. But the community came together and we did a good job. So
thank you. And if the audience wants to get a direct link to the strategy and all that we spoke about right here, you guys can just scan that QR, and that will take you to the Cardano 2030 page, and you guys can see the whole thing, the vision, strategy, everything. So that being said, I think we can move to the next slide. But before we do that, I just want to give you a bit of, one of our community members mentioned this. So Lorenzo, just for you to, there's some positive feedback on the virtual hub. Yeah. So yeah, Chaya is looking forward to using that space in many ways, and yeah, see how that works. So yeah, thank you, Chaya, for that comment. Okay, so the next stage is the events highlight. We did have some events December, and particularly in India, both of them. So I'll just share my screen right now just to showcase. First of all, I'll take this QR out a bit, and then let me just share that. Okay, so 29th, 30th November, we had a huge Cardano hackathon where over 400 developers showed up, and we had the gathering was enormous. It was so big that even Aptos, some of the other blockchains, were talking about our hackathon. So it really put a good mark on that. You guys can see seriously a lot of work happening there on the side. There were 3 tracks. There was the general track on Cardano, the Masumi track, and then of course the privacy dApp by midnight. So there were the 3 tracks happening. The most, I would say personally, the highlight of that whole hackathon was of course us using ADA to buy brownies on the 29th of November, which officially we kind of like declared it as the Cardano Brownie Day. So yeah, so that is us actually using ADA in India through Cardano card and buying some brownies from Zomato, which is like Uber Eats. Some of the pictures here on the side, we've got the judges there, some of the winners on the side there. Yeah, so it was great. It was facilitated by Mergo. It was greatly done. And yeah, looking forward to 2026 on this. Rightly following that, we had the India Blockchain Week, and we had the Cardano booth, and this was, of course, part of the event proposal, the event proposal that the community voted on. You could see all the sponsors. We had Aptos, Binance. We were the platinum sponsor there in Cardano, and yeah, over 3,500 attended. It was great because right before this we had the hackathon, so it was a great move for us to actually tell everyone who attended our hackathon that they get a free ticket to IBW and they can wear the Cardano hackathon shirt, and rightfully they did. And it was amazing because India Blockchain Week was just hit by the Cardano hackathon gang, and they were really impressed that Cardano really stepped up this year. We've got Nikhil, one of our board members, giving a talk at the Coinbase news booth, and then of course that's our booth right there. One of the highlights was the Hydra machine, which I know you can see on the side right here. It was different. People were really enjoying it, and I'm hoping that next year we have more of the Hydra machine, the Dooms and all that, and of course even the vending machine. Hopefully, I don't know. It would be great to have that stuff. But yeah, other than that, it was great. Looking forward to 2026. Both of these events and other events. Yeah, thank you on that. And then the next bit is really a general holiday message. It's open floor. Jack, do you want to start it off, and then we can sort of go around the table and sort of give it a bit of a thing to all our viewers. We have 176 live viewers right now.
Okay, cool. That's nice. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. Last town hall of the year for 25. I sort of gave a holiday message before, really, which just saying thanks everyone for all of the effort and hard work this year. I know people have put in tons of hours because they care and they're passionate about this ecosystem. So on that alone, it's really impressive, and I'm just very grateful. So thank you. But we can wrap it up, I guess, Abs. So maybe just some parting thoughts from you, Kyle, and then we'll go around to Lorenzo and Neil.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys have a good holiday. We worked hard this year. I know, markets are poopy, but it is what it is, guys. We did good. I'm just grateful to be able to have an opportunity to contribute and work with, within such a highly talented ecosystem. So, you guys spend some time with your families, and let's get to it next year.
Thank you, Kyle. Lorenzo?
Yeah, I think I'll echo what was said, and particularly I think it's I would like to thank every member and associate and participants who this year spent volunteer time throughout the committees and the working group, and it's not just product committee. Every committee did a lot of work this year, and it's great to see the commitment and the passion that every community member of Cardano has for Cardano. So thank you to everyone, and yeah, let's have all a great holiday and some rest, and meet again in 2026.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Neil? Oh, you're on mute, Neil. Hold on. Unmute you.
I'm not down. Yeah. It's been a great year. We've had some challenges, but we've overcome them, and we're all still here, and that's really good. And the amount of passion in this community is just incredible, and it's really great to see. So have a great year. Continue on.
Yeah, Thank you guys, and wish you all a peaceful holiday season and a powerful start to the new year. Really looking forward to 2026, and thank you guys for joining in today, and everyone listening in, all 180 people listening in, live viewing this right now. So thank you all for coming in, and see you guys in 2026. Thank you very much. Take care. See you guys. Bye.